By far, the number one most common question I ever get asked is, what is the best tent that I should buy? And although buying your first tent can be super complicated, what I wanted to do today is to break it down into 5 helpful tips that'll really give you greater confidence to make a tenting decision, and also one that you can be proud of for many, many years to come. So if you're ready, let's go. One of the biggest mistakes first-time tent buyers make, and that is in their excitement, they don't do enough research and they end up buying a tent which is not fit for purpose and one that they quickly regret. In their haste, they quickly realize they'll pay too much for a tent, or perhaps pay too little than what they should have. The tent may be too big, it could be too small, it may be too lightweight, and it just really doesn't fit their purpose, and very quickly they become underwhelmed. So what I suggest you do is find a tent that revolves around the main reason you want it for. Is it mainly for you? Is it mainly for you and perhaps someone, or maybe a pet? Is it for doing longer distances, so you need something that's lightweight? Or is it something where you need a bigger vestibule? Whatever the case may be, make sure you choose a tent that's based around the number one reason that you want it for. Focus on buying a tent that covers the 3 most common seasons people hike, tramp and camp in. That is, all seasons except for winter. There's stacks of trips that you can go on and enjoy during these 3 seasons. Be mindful though that during those 3 seasons you can and will get bad weather, so make sure that the tent that you get is literally a shelter from the storm when you need it to be. A 3-season tent will generally have a lot of mesh on the inside, which increases ventilation and also helps reduce weight. The outer fabric can be of a lighter material, but do make sure that it's strong enough in strong winds to be able to protect you. It'll generally have 1 to 2 poles for a single person tent and 2 to 3 poles for a 2-person tent. The outer fabric is generally of a lighter weight, but just make sure that that lighter weight doesn't mean that it's super thin, because you want a tent that can hold up to rain and also hold up to strong winds when it occurs. No one wants to carry around more gear than what they need to, but at the same time, they want a tent that's strong, and they also want a tent that's big enough and comfortable enough to be able to make the journey really enjoyable. So it's really important to find that sweet spot between that which is light enough, that which is strong enough, and that which is comfortable and big enough. You want a big enough tent to fit you and your gear in comfortably. Questions you might like to ask yourself are, can you sit up in the tent and get changed in it? Can you stretch out your feet without your head touching the ends? Now it's all very well looking at a diagram on the internet of your tent and you think, oh yep, I can fit into that, but the reality is that the ends generally are sloped in. So you've got to look at not what the diagram says, but what we call the usable space of the tent. And it can really be helpful if you can actually see the tent set up either at a friend's house or in the wild or at a store, so you can sit in it and see if it really fits your needs. If you're looking at a 2-person tent, does it have 2 doors so you both can use them? Does it have enough vestibule space and enough width to be able to sleep in comfortably without as if you're breathing on each other during the night? Of course, we all want comforts. We love pockets, we love extra room and all those good things in a tent, but it all adds up to weight. As I said before, strike that happy medium between all those good things that you want and what you're willing to carry on your back. Price is always a factor when buying a tent, but the good news is you don't have to spend astronomical amounts, break the bank, to be able to buy a tent that you can be really proud of and that'll give you awesome memories for many years to come. However, I would discourage you though from buying a super cheap tent, because no one sat in their tent during a storm and thought, oh, I'm so glad I've saved money by buying this tent. So my simple advice is go out and buy the best quality tent that you can for the budget you've got to spend it on. Don't worry about if it's not the best tent out there. If it's the best that you can afford, that's cool. You can always upgrade in the future. I've got tents that are quite expensive, but I didn't start there. I started with a very practical tent that fitted well within my budget. I had an awesome time, and because I had a great time, that encouraged me to be able to invest into other tents that I could use for other purposes and other seasons, and enabled me to go on other trips. So my 5th and last point, and that is always go with a well-known brand. In other words, a brand that's literally been around for decades. People have liked it, people have used it, maybe in the places that you're looking at taking a trip into, and also more importantly, they come back to keep buying these products. Why? Because they endure, they're good quality, and they've got good after sales service. Because there's no point in buying a cheap brand, unknown brand online, because if something goes wrong, who are you going to call? Who are you going to send the parts back to get replaced? Well, you're going to have real difficulty. So it's really important that whatever you spend doesn't become a waste of money, but you get a good return on your investment. Thanks for tuning in today, I really appreciate it. If you've got any questions about the tent that you're looking at buying, please put them in the comments below. I'll respond accordingly. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd appreciate that as well. And until I see you in the next helpful video, always stay safe, stay strong. See you in the next one, team. Bye.